What's going on? Losing about 144, trading AMD long and short. Let us get into it. So this is kind of a second piece to the Friday trade recap. I just want to split these up because I didn't want to talk about gold and then AMD. If it was two stocks, I would talk about them, but gold is kind of its own animal, and they're really kind of different trades. Now, technically, you see you have a short and a long. We lost $16 in the short. We lost $127 on the long. Reason why I'll get into in a second. I could get back in, but I think I'm going to just call it a week, and that is it. You'll see why. So AMD long. Now, I was actually short a couple of days prior. There was a prior trade recap where I was short AMD, and I liked being short AMD. The problem was I got in on the breakdown underneath this blue line right here, which is a very nice like bear flag, by the way. Nice move down, nice consolidation, put pressure on the lows, break the lows. Just did not get a momentum follow through. And so when we pushed back above that line and closed, I got out. Now, the next day, I was like, actually, I wonder if I should go long. So I went long. And then I had my stops here, and that stopped me out. And then I went short. And then I see the market bouncing back, and I'm like, you know what? No. So essentially, let me clarify. There was a prior trade recap on AMD, if you go back a couple of days, and it was shorting AMD. This trade was primarily longing AMD. I'll get into the reasoning in a second. And then I also went short once the long stopped out. I got back short. And then I said to myself, stop being a dumbass. This doesn't fucking matter. AMD is just a stock. It's not a fucking anything that matters to me. It's just 3 letters on a screen with some numbers. We don't have to trade AMD. If AMD is being a bitch and is not going the way I want it to go, it's not moving in a way that is congruent with my strategy, we kick her to the curb. Okay? We don't care about AMD. Screw AMD. Okay? That is something that, you kind of have to just check yourself sometimes. And to me, I'm happy to fuck around sometimes and do this and then catch my ass with a $16 loss. Sorry if I'm not making sense, but like, I'm not going to sit back and, while it's not respecting or behaving in the manner that I would like to see, I'm not going to try to forcefully say, I'm going to stay in because I think it's going to go down. It should go down because of X. No, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Who cares? And that's a better mindset, I think, to have. So that's how I'm going to approach it. So the original trade was a long. Now, why? Or I guess the original trade was short, but I got back long. Why? Because as of yesterday, I see this lower wick and I see higher volume and I say, okay, well, the support level, I look back, it's been trending up past couple of months, okay. This is a potential telltale sign of a false breakdown. So when I see this lower wick and it closing above and then I see a nice day, that's a false breakdown. So I'm looking for this thing to actually break up to the upside and maybe head towards the top of the range, up into the 180 area or more. That obviously did not happen, and we had our stop loss hit. So it was a tight stop. I didn't get crushed on the trade. It was a tight stop, but that was it. So we lost 128 roughly on that one, and then we had the $16 loss on the short because I got back in short today. The trade got out. I stopped out this morning, and then I was like, well, we're actually, kind of breaking down to new lows on high volume. I like it. And we did have high volume. Don't get me wrong. If I jump back to the 1 hour chart, check this out. I mean, like, the volume is really good. So that was my original thought on the first hour of the day. I'm like, well, the volume is really good. Like that, we haven't had, in terms of the first hour of the day, we haven't had volume this high in like over a week. So that's really good, relatively speaking. So good relative volume on the breakdown to new lows. Great, cool. But then what's now happened is this, and this is exactly what I did not want to see. And so as I'm watching this go on, I'm like, Now, we could roll over by the end of the day and go to new lows. I'm not going to get back in. I don't care. But that was why we got back in short, and now quickly saying, you know what? This is just a continuation of action that I don't want to deal with. I don't like trading this action. So I'm not going to, especially holding over the weekend. Not that I really will think about it over the weekend. I'm not going to be sitting in bed thinking, oh, fuck AMD. I really don't. Like, I sometimes I wake up in the morning and I go to the gym, and then I'm at a red light after the gym. I'm like, oh shit, let's check in on let's check on that position. Like, that's how I'll be sometimes. because I won't even remember. Like I don't care as much as I maybe used to. Definitely not as much as I used to. So that was that. So you can sum those up to like whatever 144, whatever the number is in losses. I'll kind of combine the two, although they were technically two separate trades. One was a super small loss and one was a normal size loss, roughly. So that's the deal. This is these are on a 10K account. This right here was on a 6K account, a little bit large for that 6K account, I'll be honest. And this is on a $25,000 account, maybe a little bit smaller for a 25K account trade, but that's the deal. So I'll leave a link to TradeZilla, how I track it all down below. On the month so far, we're pretty much break even, just slightly red, which is, it's fine. With a 38% win rate, I'll take that any day. Give me a couple more trades that hopefully actually trigger and not forcing stuff. But if I get a couple trades that trigger the rest of the month and we kind of return to the mean and we have maybe a couple winners, cool, great. We'll get this closer to 50% and we should be green, but you can't control that. And I don't know what's going to happen. I have no idea. So we'll see. That's the plan. That's the update. And there you guys have it. Peace and see you in the next one.